Alright, so today we are going to watch LC battle between Dundies and dcae. This battle was played for LCPL 7. It was the week 7, I believe, and was played on 14 Jan of 2018. So yeah, it's been a while since then. This was obviously played on Sun and Moon. I don't really know if it was Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I think it was, yeah, Sun and Moon. Like you guys can see, Trapinch was still in the tier. So yeah, it's been a while. So yeah, let's start for the teams. Dundies has Evilite, Trapinch, Berryeyes, Bullaby, Mienfu, it might be Evilite or Simu, Rocks, Evilite Pawniard, Evilite Marine, and an Abra. Let's see, this Pawniard is obviously Rocks because no one else can use Rocks in this team, and also it's highly likely that it's Evilite and not Seamove, owing to the fact that this Pawniard is the only flying resist of the team. The idea of Dundies team is obviously just check, well, trap monsters like Magnemite, Diglett, or even Alola Rimmer with Trapinch, and then sweep with Abra in the late game. In the other hand, we have dcae, which has Diglett, which is probably Seamove, Fungus, maybe HP Fire, but doesn't seem really likely due to Magnemite. Usually you just use Magnemite to trap Ferocity and that stuff, but there is a possibility that this Magnemite is actually Berryeyes with which has Recycle and Endure and doesn't run usually HP Fire, so it might be that set of Magnemite and HP Fire Fungus, but doesn't seem really likely because this team is also kinda slow if that is the case. So yeah, there's also Roxonix, pretty common. Probably an Ice Punch Timur. That was the most common Timur on that time, at that moment. Like, I'm talking by memory, but I think that Max Def Timur wasn't a thing either, because it just wasn't really common. You usually just run less def investment. dcae also has two flying resist on the team, so yeah, it's not really needed. And then it has also Bullaby. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this, but Bullaby didn't run a C move at this moment on time. Like, it wasn't common at all. So yeah, a summary, the biggest threats for dcae are Mienfu, in the case that is Simu, and Abra. And on the other hand, dcae has probably Scarf Magnemite, which will put some work if this Trapinch is chipped down, which probably will happen because Trapinch won't be able to trap the Sonics and Magnemite at the same time, and dcae also might trap this Trapinch with his own Diglett. So yeah, this Magnemite definitely will put some work on this battle. This fungus also uh, will be kinda threat because it will be able to slip something on Dundies team, owing to the fact that Dundies doesn't have a sleep immunity because this Bullaby it's weak armor, it's not overcoat. So that makes me think that this Mienfoo is probably C bounce just to lure this type of fungus. What else? Well, that's it, I believe. Yeah, fungus and magnet are big threats. Then this has also his Zara. So yeah, let's start. Let's begin. Okay. So Dandis starts with his pioneer as dcae decides to lead with his Bullaby. I think that both leads makes sense in both parts because Dandis cannot let dcae to lead with his fungus or magnemite, and pioneer covers both options as dcae cannot let this Mienfoo or Abra to come in and basically get a kill. So yeah, there are both really nice options in both sides. Okay, so then this goes for rocks in turn 1, which is very cool. It's a really good move because he wants to break Magnemite's Stardy in case that it's actually very ice with a Stardy, and also wants to chip down this Bullaby as fast as possible and try to win with his Aura and Mienfoo. Uh, dcae, in the other hand, wants to knock off this Pioneer, so which that means is that this Pioneer won't be able to check this Bullaby and Magnemite as easily. So yeah. Dundies decides to knock off as the case stays in and goes for the heat wave, which explains even more the play that dcae did in the turn before, staying in and going for the knockout. If you are not heat wave, you might just go a hard timber on turn 1. This heat wave is really nice for dcae because it means that this pioneer won't be able to check Bullaby later, and also it means that this pioneer is almost dead. So this Magnemite has one less steel resist to break. So this Magnemite might be able to spam Flash Cannon in that game, which is pretty nice for dcae. So yeah, Dundies decides to just sack his Pioneer, which makes sense at this point. At this point, it's more or less useless, and goes for the Sucker Punch as dcae just kills Pioneer with knockoff. And here, Nifu comes in. He's not scared of Endure Bullaby because obviously in Sun and Moon Endure Bullaby wasn't a thing. Bullaby didn't learn that move, and he also wasn't scared of Protect because Heatwave class Protect on Bullaby wasn't really a thing either. Um, let's say, and this is very important, that this Mienfoo killing Bullaby with clicking fake out means that this Mienfoo actually has some attacking basement, which means that this Mienfoo is offensive, as I said before. This Mienfoo is actually C mood. So yeah, otherwise this Mienfoo would have needed to get a max roll in case that is defensive, but if that is what happened, then Dundies brings this Mienfoo in and tries to get a max roll, he would have gone to Volavi instead, obviously. So yeah, uh, dcae spends some time uh, thinking here, yes, using the damage calculator probably, and he realized that indeed this Mienfoo is C move, so he just decides to go to his Diglett and kill it straight away, which is a really good play. Uh, Unfortunately for him, it means that he won't be able to kill this Marine later on in one hit because he needs the Simus to do that. But I think that dcae will be pretty happy with this trade. Uh, this Mienfoo was a big threat for dcae's team, as I said before, so probably not going to Mienfoo here and trying to kill this Bulabi clicking fake out maybe was just better to go to his Bulabi and just, you know, clicking Bravebeard or even U-turn. U-turn was probably a good play. But I'm pretty sure that Dundies didn't expect dcae to know that this Mienfoo was C move, and he didn't expect this exactly sequence to happen. I bet that is what happened. So yeah, this Mienfoo gets killed, and Dundies will decide to go to his Bulabi. Let's say that even then, this is pretty good for dcae, owing to the fact that he just killed uh, the biggest threat. Dundies is probably still doing fine because he still has his Sabra and Trapinch on the back, so there is still a game for sure. So yeah, Dundies decides to go to his Bulabi. Probably he will click knockoff or U-turn. Knockoff most likely, yeah, that is what he does. As dcae goes to his Onyx, which is a play that makes completely sense because it's his Bulabi check and flying resist. He goes for the Rock Blast. I believe that got 4 hits, 5 actually. Yeah, 5 hits plus an earthquake. Okay, this earthquake was really interesting. This earthquake was really interesting. Uh, so yeah, uh, this Trapinch at this range is able to leave one flash cannon from Magnemite, and that means that that Dundies actually has a Trapper and a check to this Magnemite. While if dcae clicked explosion, this Trapinch, I don't know really the calc, but I believe that it should be dead, and if it actually lives, then in any case, Magnemite would be able to kill it with flash cannon, using flash cannon. So yeah, this earthquake was really interesting. I don't really know why dcae clicked that. He maybe didn't have explosion, he maybe had a taunt or even protect as a last move, but my guess is that dcae actually overpredict and protect coming from this trappings in order to avoid explosion and let this Onyx kill himself without doing anything. Um, I don't really know actually if that is what happened or dcae just didn't have the move, but in any case, uh, this is what happened. Now dcae can't go to Diglett because it doesn't really kill Trapinch, and Diglett might be useful later on to check this aura. And Bulabi because it's rocked slightly on it. So yeah, dcae just goes for the Spore, and I have been rewatching the battle a couple of times, and I believe that this was actually a mistake by Dundies. I wouldn't say that it's a choke or that he was throwing the battle away, because staying in with Trapinch is completely fine as well, but what Dandy should have done is just to go to Marine here, and after so probably going to either Bulabi or Trapinch. Like, the value of Trapinch at this moment on the battle is higher than Marine's. Owing to the fact that Marine just checks Timur, which is not a big threat, because Dundies still has Abra and Bulabi, which both checks Timur in an offensive way, while the only mon in Dundies team that actually checks this Magnemite is this Trapinch. So yeah, I think that going to Marine here and not letting this Trapinch get exposed was a better play, but let's imagine that is what happened and Dundies decides to go to Marine. Then what is his play? Do you go Trapinch? Do you go Bulabi? Do you stay in? It's kinda hard because going to Marine allows dcae to have a free Magnemite. So yeah, it's definitely not an easy turn for Dundies at all. This might have been actually better, but I think that the best play was just going to Marine, honestly. And then I probably just would go to Trapinch. Yeah, kinda risky, I know, but yeah. dcae cannot let this Bulabi get in and have a free turn, I believe. But that is exactly what happens, because now this Trapinch is trapping obviously this fungus, so even if this Bulabi play it's extremely obvious, dcae is not able to punish that going to Magnemite, because like I said, fungus is trapped, so he just decides to go for the Giga Drain, which is definitely the best play. Here, Dundies decides to go for the knockoff, which is a really good play, because it means that, first of all, means that this Magnemite cannot come in, and second of all, it means that even if you don't kill this Bulabi now, this fungus now, and dcae gets the right turn later going to Magnemite on the Brave Beard, it means that your Abra will be able to kill it later. So at the end, this first knockoff was definitely the best play. About this second one, I'm not completely sure, but I completely understand that Dundies was really scared of this Magnemite having a free turn. So yeah, this probably was still completely fine by Dundies. Here decides to go for the knockoff a third time, as dcae goes for the Sludge Bomb. I have been thinking this before, and I considered that maybe dcae didn't want to synthesis here because it didn't have it, and this fungus actually was HP Fire. But owing to the fact that this Bulabi was a heatwave, this fungus being HP Fire seems not really the case. So he probably just wanted to click a Slush Bomb and sack this fungus in order to let this Bulabi get in range of a Rock Slide from Diglett, plus Match Punch from Timur. So this is exactly what happens. dcae goes to Diglett here, He doesn't want to go to his Magnemite because he knows that that is risky, because even if this trapping is slept, uh, if Decay goes for the T-Bolt, then it's choice trapped, and basically Dundies will be able to trap that Magnemite. So in order to not risk some 50-50s, he decides to just go to the Diglett, which seems like a more safe, like a safer play. He decides to go for the Rock Slide while Dundies goes for the Brave Lead, and basically here both mons are trade. At this point, DK has to go to Timur because if Dundies goes for his what's it called, Trapinch, as you go for Magnemite, then you instantly lose because you cannot get locked in T-Bolt, and you also can't what's it called, can't click Flash Cannon, because then you just go to, then Dundies just goes to his Marine and gets a free Scold. His Timur has to come in, and it's a losing spot from Decay. So he's forced to go to his Timur, as Dundies just goes for his Trappings, which is the play that avoids Mehmet to come in, which is a good play. So yeah, this Trapping somehow still has some value, even if it's sleeping, which is kinda crazy if you think about it. Here, Dundies decides to go for the Marine, which makes sense because it's the check of Timur in case that is Iron Fist Ice Punch, which is the most common set. But here, Dundies gets a Scald Burn, and DK goes for the T-Punch, revealing that this Timur is actually a Guts and also has T-Punch instead of Ice Punch, which is game changing, honestly, because this whole time Dundies was preserving his Marine in order to check this Timur. As I said before, he didn't wanna go to his Marine and preferred to let his Trapinch get a slap, which was a play that I didn't consider that good. And yeah, here it seems like DK is going to win because now the combination of Match Punch from Timur plus Flash Cannon on Magnemite will be able to pull this off. But Dundies might get 2 turns of sleep in his trapping and kill DK's Magnemite in that sequence, but doesn't seem really likely. So yeah, here Abra obviously comes in and goes for the Psychic just in order to kill DK's Timur, and here Magnemite should be able to win this, just spamming Flash Cannon. Also, like I said, here Dundies can just sack his Sabra and try to pray for 2 turns of a sleep on his trapping. So yeah, let's see what happens. DK decides to go for the Flash Cannon, obviously he cannot click T-Punch, and the Dundies here decides to psychic his trapping, which is kinda crazy. Here Magnemite kills this trapping and should be able to now kill this Sabra as well, but it turns off. It turns out that this Sabra is actually a Scarf Aura, which is pretty impressive. It's not something really common at all, and it obviously outspeeds that Scarf Magnemite and gets the win for Dundies. This was an incredible game, honestly. It seemed like after the Guts teamwork with which had T-Punch, it was it seemed pretty over for Dundies. It looked like he was going to lose, but then he had that fire touch of of what's the call of Scarfabra. If you guys are wondering if dcae could have done something like going here to Magnemite, well, that wasn't really an option because first of all, it makes sense that dcae tries to stay in and go for the match punch because this Abra might be focus charge, and also Magnemite gets to KO'd with Rocks Up uh, by Abra's Psychic. So yeah, I think that it was a really nice game. This T-Punch teamwork actually wasn't game changing like it seemed. And so yeah, now I believe that this Marine definitely was less value than Trapinch, because this Marine literally did nothing on this game. It didn't check anything at all, at all. While this Trapinch was able to trap this Magnemite, but then this didn't end up needing that because this Ara was obviously Chase Scarf. Another thing to note, and I believe that it's pretty important, it's this turn, like I said before, turn 4. Mienfoo going here and killing this Bulabi. This Mienfoo was a big threat, so like I said before, maybe just going to his Bulabi here instead of going Mienfoo was better for Landis, and he could have won in a cleaner game, you know, more easily. But yeah, he didn't need it at the end and won either way. So yeah, I think it was a really nice game for both players. They played this really well. Uh, it's I think that is also a games that teach us a lot of things. For example, in the case part, what is so important, uh, that calculating things is so important. You use, guys, the damage calculator as much as you can, because it will give you some crucial information like spreads, how much attack has this thing or how much defense, and yeah, that is really important to know. And there are a lot of players that doesn't do this kind of stuff, and it's really important to make the best plays, because here the best play for dcae after sacking this Bulabi is to go Diglett. But if you don't calculate that, then you don't realize that you can trap this Mienfoo. So yeah, it's very important. Another really important thing, obviously, that this game teaches us is to preserve win cons. Obviously, both players didn't come in with their biggest threats until the end of the battle. Like you guys saw, dcae didn't choke going to Magnemite at any point against Bulabi. Also, this Fungus was pretty useless here, and the value of Magnemite was so much bigger than Fungus. On the other hand, Dundies also have weight a lot to bring that scarf aura. And that is the last lesson of this game, and it's a surprise factor and how to lure your opponent using things like Seafly, Mienfu, or Scarfabra. So yeah, I think this battle was really nice. Definitely one of the greatest battle in LC history. Definitely in LCPL history, and I do believe that in LC history as well. So yeah, guys, I hope that you guys enjoy it. I hope that I also explained everything more or less well, and see you guys around. So I will be sorry, not bringing, uploading more stuff like this. Let me know which type of battles do you guys want to see. But for the moment, I think that I will be choosing the ones that I think that are high level, you know. So yeah, see you guys around. Peace.